Hi, this is Rick from Edwardle Software, and this is a video, a part of the training series for the Poker Odds Calculator Pro app. So let's get started. And in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about hand ranges, all about them, from the concepts to creation to saving them to reusing hand ranges, all the above. So let's first talk about basic understanding of hand ranges. So in this example, I'm calculating odds, pocket aces versus 9, 10 of clubs. And here you know specifically that this player has ace of spades, ace of hearts, and this player has 9 of clubs, 10 of clubs. However, often you don't know what a player might have. So instead, you might be up against a random player, and let's calculate those odds. So in this case, the 9, 10 of clubs is facing two random players. And that's the exact opposite of knowing the exact cards. You don't know anything about the cards. Or basically two question marks. You don't know anything about them. And that is, in other words, the largest hand range possible. Is basically playing against a blind donkey that plays any two cards. So in this case, against a random player, the 9, 10 of clubs has a 53.9% of the time. However, often you know more information about this player than random. For example, this player might have been the first hand this guy played in 2.5 hours. So you know he only plays premium hands. So in that case, instead of assigning random cards, you can assign a tight hand range to that player. And then that will give you better equity percentage calculations. So here let's use in a stored default range, just hit the star button here. This brings up a list of built-in hand ranges, all the Skalansky hand ranges, the suited hand ranges, Broadway, some connectors. So let's say this guy is really tight. He only plays the premium hands. Let's say he only plays these hands. Aces, kings, queens, jacks, and ace, king suited. That's a pretty tight range. That's only 2.1% of all hands. But let's say that guy, you think he's on that type of hand. So you can actually assign that to that player. So now when you calculate odds, your 9, 10 of clubs don't look as good anymore because you're playing against this tight player who has a 77.2% equity with that hand range. So that's the basic concept of hand ranges. If you can put your player on a hand range, it's better to use a hand range than just random cards. So you can use a built-in hand range, but you can also create your own custom hand range. So let's do that. Let's say you know a lot of information about this player. You play with him for a day and a half, and you know a lot about them. So let's hit the range button. So let me show that again. So you can select the player and hit the range button to create a custom range. This brings up the range editor. So let's clear it out here first. So on the bottom you have a clear, add, subtract, suits in this button here, this action button. So the clear, you just hit the clear and it clears it all out. And the steps involved in creating a hand range is you select hands from the top. See the blue? It selects hands. Now that doesn't mean they're added yet. So basically, let's say you want to add all the pocket pairs. You think you might have any pocket pair. So you can select all the pocket pairs. That's this middle row, pocket deuces through pocket aces. Just touch, drag, and hold down, right? Then you hit the add button. So what that does, it takes the blue and turns it to green. So the greens means those hands are added to the hand range. Let's say you also think you might play ace king through ace 5 suited. So you can select those and add them. And let's say plays all these. You might be able to put them on high ace potentially. So you basically select and add. So that's the process. You select, select a road, horizontal or diagonal or vertical, and then you select add. You can also subtract. So let's say I made a mistake and I don't think he has kings. You can select the kings and subtract, and now those turn gray again. And the other way to add hands to the range is to use the slider, and it automatically selects hands. So let's say you want to select some of the good hands. You just use a slider, hit add. Now it added those hands, and you can go back and subtract some out if you don't like those. That's different ways of editing a hand range. Some other things you can do is you can use, if you select a region, right, now you can hit tap and hold, and this thing comes up. So now you can hit select plus, and it selects this whole area here. So then you can add that whole area all at once. Or you can do the same thing, select, hold down, select minus, and then it selects that whole area here, and you can either add that or subtract it. Let's subtract it. Just like that. So that's some kind of hidden features. Basically select something and then hold down, and this thing pops up. Select plus, select, or select minus. And select is just doesn't do much. So these are the ways to edit the hand range. And when you're done with the range, or you think it's of your liking, then you just hit the done button, and now it assigns that range, and you can see a small version of it right there, and you can calculate your odds against your custom range. And there you go. So that's how you create a custom range. Now let's go back and let's do something else. Let's put the flop of 10-7 2, right? Now you flopped to top pair with his 10. But let's say that this guy did something that makes the way he gave you a tell, or the way he's playing it, feels like he has like an ace of hearts, or he has a flush draw of some type of heart, maybe a high heart. So you can actually go into the range, and let's say you might think he has any type of high heart, like an ace of hearts. Let's clear the range out first. So what you can do is you can go into suit mode. You see the suit button here? Hit that, and up comes this little dialogue here. So now when you select cards, you can see suits. So let's select all these aces here. Like I'm putting him on an ace of hearts, right? So what these means is the ace of hearts is the first card. So the ace of hearts would be the heart spade, which is ace of hearts, ace of spades, ace of hearts, king of spades, ace of hearts, queen of spades, or ace of hearts club, which is ace of hearts, ace of club, ace of hearts, king of club, and so forth, always down ace of hearts, two club. And also let's select the ace of hearts diamond. So ace of hearts, ace of diamonds, always down to ace of hearts, two of diamonds. So that selects all the ace of hearts. So now now you can see that they're orange. And basically orange means it's suit specific. It's not all of them. It's just a specific suits. So in this case, all these are any ace where the ace is the ace of hearts. So that's actually a very specific range where you're putting the player on an ace of hearts. So now you can hit done, and now that player is on an ace of hearts. So now you can calculate against a single ace of hearts, and you see you're about a 50-50 shot of it winning that hand. Let's do another example and make a little more sense. Let's say instead of this, now let's put this player on a flush draw. That means any two hearts. So there's two ways to do that. There's actually a built-in hand range for that. Let's try that. Hit the star, scroll down. Oh, I have this one, any two hearts. So you can select that. Now this means any 2 hearts. So now if hit calculate that, you're about a coin flip with a guy that has a flush draw. And now think of potentially that also includes a player that might have a pair and a flush draw. So that's any flush draw, any 2 hearts that player might have. Let's do the same thing, but let's clear this out. For an exercise, let's do the same thing with the hand range. Let's put this player on any 2 hearts. So how do you do that? Well, you go into suit mode and you select, it's all these, first of all, it's on this side, it's the suited cards, right? Select all these here. Now you want to select basically this whole right side of the chart, because these are all the suited cards here. So select this row here, click and hold and hit select plus, right? So now I selected all these suited cards, and from down here I can hit the heart, which means just the suited hearts only. And now you can see they're all orange, and specifically, let's if you want to double check your range, you can actually hit this button here, and you can see range as a text. And now it actually shows that this range is Ace of Hearts, King of Hearts through 3 of Hearts, 2 of Hearts. So that's a nice way to check a range by text. Now you hit done, and it's the same basic calculation I did before, because that was the built-in range. So another concept to learn is how to save a range and reuse it. So let's say you're up against a player and he always plays any pair all the time, and he always plays any ace suited. I mean, this is typical player. Plays like any king suited that's high, plays basically ace through ace 10 all the time. He plays king queen, and he plays all these suited connectors all the time. All right, so this is a player that you know, and you reuse over and over again. So you can actually create the range and use it. But now if you go back, oh, I want to reuse that range. Oh, you have to re-enter it and stuff. Well, that's a pain. So instead, let's go back to that range we just did. So in here, when you create the range, you can select here. And now you can say add to favorites. So actually, this guy is my friend Bob. So I'm going to just call this range Bob's range. All right? Now I can save it and hit done. Now in the future, let's go back to my hand list and let's start a new hand. In the future, I have 10, 9 of clubs, or let's change it up a little bit. I have pocket sevens, and I'm up against my friend Bob. So now I can hit the favorites button. Let's do that again. Hit this star up here. And now in my favorite hand range, since I saved it, is Bob's range. And now I can use it there. So now I can use Bob's range anytime I want to, because I saved it. So that's saving ranges. Now here's another concept, is how to edit the favorite range list. So let's go to the favorite range list. So from here I have the favorite ranges up top and the built-in ranges down bottom. So I can edit this list. I can hit this edit button, and now I can rearrange my custom hand ranges. I can even rearrange the built-in hand ranges. So let's say I care, I use these often, but any 2 spades, I want to move this up to the top, and so forth. I'm not going to do all of them, but there, that's how you can move hands. And you can also delete ranges. Let's say Bob, I no longer play with Bob, I don't care, so I can actually delete that range. But I can also go back and I can edit favorite ranges by clicking this button here. And now this is a custom range I saved a long time ago, but I can edit it by hitting the edit button. Let's say I change the name to Jolie. And then I can actually, let's say she's starting to play a lot looser nowadays, so I can add some hands. And now that hand had edited, so I can use it later. And so now I can use the Julie range edited. So there you go. That's how you can edit the hand range list and edit the favorite hand ranges. If you're wondering, the built-in hand ranges, you can dive in and look at them, and you can actually see the text of them. This is a Sklansky number 1, but there's no way to actually edit the built-in hand ranges. You can just view them, and you can rearrange them in this list, but you can't edit them. But however, you can edit the favorite ranges, which you saw earlier. And that's the basics to hand ranges. If you have any more questions, you can email me at support@edwardle.com or visit the website edwardle.com. And also there's other training videos for the Poker Odds Calculator app. Thank you.